So what do you rank this, 1 or 5?
5, because I know there's one that's in my garage right now that I'd put at number 1.
All right. Number one.
Well, that's disappointing.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. Exactly as planned.
Welcome, everyone, to the Bose Bros podcast. I'm Mason.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Logan.
And we're going to get started with our speed rounds. First up, Logan has 20 questions for you.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and start.
Is it an American market car?
Yes.
Is it made by the big three?
Yes.
Is it made by Ford?
No.
Is it made by GM?
No.
Okay. Is it made by Dodge?
Yes.
Has it been on sale in the last 10 years?
No.
Is it from the Malaise era?
Yes.
Is it a Dodge Omni?
No.
Is it a Dodge Charger?
No.
Is it from the 90s?
No.
Is it from the 80s?
Yes.
Is it a truck?
Yes.
Is it a Dodge Little Red Express?
No.
Is it a Ram Charger?
No.
Is it a Dakota convertible?
No.
How many am I at?
15.
Is it a Dodge Ram?
No.
Oh, it's that little competitor to the... Oh, what's it called? Dodge Rampage.
That is correct.
It's the Dodge Ram. Yeah, buddy.
It's so ugly. So awesome.
It's awful.
All right. What's the likely... Did you think I was going to get that one?
Yeah.
was starting to think you
Your
didn't know.
batting average is like 950, so.
Yeah.
All right. Next one's me
Nice.
as well, right?
Yeah, you're quizzing Jordan. All right, Joe, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Is it an American market car?
Yes.
Is it from the big three?
No.
Is it from an electric car company?
No. Narrows it down a lot.
Yes, it does. Is it a supercar brand?
Yes.
Is it Hennessy?
No.
Is it SSC?
No.
It's a supercar brand. It's not SSC. It's not Hennessy. Is it Shelby?
No.
Okay. Would I kick myself for not knowing it?
You definitely know this car, but I chose it because it'd be kind of hard in this game.
Is
I'll
it
give you a
just
hint.
gas powered?
Yes. Do you want a hint?
Sure.
Like, I want to say this might not be true for Shelby, but I think Shelby's from Texas, right?
Is it a Celine S7?
No. But I was going to say this manufacturer is also Texan. That might be totally
Okay.
wrong. That
I don't
doesn't,
know.
that's not a very helpful hint.
You don't
It's
know?
a Vector W8.
Oh,
Yeah, that was obscure.
I have heard of that car, but I did not even know it was American.
I didn't know that either. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
good
Texas.
job. Stumped
Okay,
him.
you got
There
me.
was like a rich Texas guy who made it, and he was obsessed with fighter planes, and so the whole inside is like based
You're
on
kidding.
a fighter plane.
Looking at a picture of it.
He made a second one too, which was like much more 90s. But anyway,
Yeah, it was. Wasn't it purchased? Like the whole company was purchased by Lambo. Am I remembering
know.
that right?
yeah, it was
I
like
was-
owned by something.
I watched a breakdown on the design of the Diablo,
Yeah, I have no idea.
And I could be crossing my wires. All right, what's next?
The only time I ever even heard of this car was watching it show up on Doug DeMuro.
Yeah.
It was the first and only time I've been exposed to that car.
Yeah, I haven't seen that many.
All right. Did you have a third one for him, Logan?
No.
Okay, then don't go to the next slide if you haven't already.
No, I didn't.
All right. So that means this one is for you. Jordan's quizzing you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well,
Okay.
I have to remember what it is. Oh, I was saying before that I saw this car, and it was the very first time in a long time where I saw a car on the road, and I was like, I don't know what that's called. And I had to Google it. And it's not a rare car. Anyway, that's a hint, I guess, but you can get started with your 20 questions.
Is it an American car?
It is.
Is it a GM product?
It is.
Is it a Pontiac?
It's not.
Is it a Buick?
Nope.
Is it an Oldsmobile?
Nope.
Chevy?
Yep.
How many questions is that?
Yeah.
Like 6?
5.
5.
Is it a truck?
Nope.
Hatchback?
No.
Minivan?
Yep.
I don't know what the Chevy minivan is called. Is it a new car?
No.
Is it from the 90s?
It was on sale in the late 90s.
Okay, so like late 90s, early 2000s?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Chevy minivan? Chevy
Yeah.
minivan? I don't know. The Chevy Express. I don't know. What is
Nope.
it? What is
The
it?
Chevrolet Venture.
Oh, dude.
at that
how did I
sad
not,
sack.
Oh my God. How did I not know that? Dang,
I
I think I have
wouldn't
19
have been
inches
able
on that.
19-inch
Alright.
wheels? I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
I
next
wouldn't have
one.
been able to tell you what it is.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
I saw it on the road, I was like, oh, it's the early 2000s Chevy minivan. And I was like, I actually
Sorry.
don't know what the name of that is.
Well, they had like a Pontiac version of it and like a GMC version of it. Maybe?
I'm sure they did. But when I saw it, I was like, I just don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
And I had to look it up.
All right.
All right, you got another one for Logan?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Is
yes.
Is it American?
Yep.
Does it look like a Cadillac CTS that got squeezed a lot from front to back? Yeah.
Did you happen to see the picture?
Yeah, I accidentally went to the next slide.
Oh.
Like
The EQS?
Nope. That's a Mercedes.
Or
Similar,
wait, what,
segment,
CTQ?
Nope.
LG
No Q.
CTQ? I don't know what
Yeah,
it's
it's
called.
a ELR.
Oh, ELR.
It's a Chevy Volt with a Cadillac badge. From some angles, it looks awesome, and you're right. From some angles, it looks like a CTSV 2-door that's been put in a trash compactor.
It looks like a regular Cadillac that went through that like Monsters Inc. machine, like where they remember when he thinks the girl fell into it. This is a weird.
it like crumples it into a
Give it
cube. Yeah.
Yeah.
I give it up.
I feel that way about that generation CTS coupe. Like if I put it on a rotating pedestal, there's some angles where I'm like, that's sweet. And then it reaches a certain angle where I'm like, and then it goes back to looking cool again. Like,
Hot dog water.
yeah.
Is there
All right,
another?
listen, don't skip to the next one.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to put the picture up. But yeah, what did you say it was?
That is the
ELR?
Cadillac ELR. It was like twice the price of a Volt or something. It was some crazy amount, and it had an EV range of like 50 miles.
They sold.
and hybrid
They
or
sold
something. It was just-
9.
they sold 9 of them. Is that the actual number?
Yeah. I don't know.
That seemed high.
This next one, Jordan's quizzing you, Logan, and this is one you definitely know.
Is it Japanese?
Nope.
Is it American?
Yep.
Is it a Mopar product?
It is not.
Is it a Chevy product? Or
it's
GM product? Okay.
It is a GM product.
Oh, it is a GM product. Okay. But it's not Chevy.
It's not
Pontiac?
Chevy. It is a Pontiac.
Is it a Pontiac Solstice?
Nope.
Is it a muscle car?
No.
Was it driven by a remarkably successful chemistry teacher who moonlighted as a meth dealer?
Is it an Aztec? No.
Is it a contemporary vehicle, like within the last 15 years?
No.
Is it a classic?
By the definition of it's more than 25 years old, yes.
Is it from the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Pontiac from the 80s? I don't know, Trans Am?
Nope.
You said it's not a muscle car?
No.
Well, I don't know any Pontiacs that aren't muscle cars, so they're all useless.
That's definitely not true.
I don't know. I've never owned a Pontiac. How many questions am I at?
You're at 13.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. This isn't going well. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
You know what it is. No, let him keep going. You know what it is. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
We talked about this car literally the last time you were on the show.
That was 9 years ago.
That's probably 2 months ago.
Is it a
You
sedan?
talked about this car.
It's not a sedan.
Is it an SUV?
Nope.
Is it a
Did
truck?
Pontiac ever make it? It's not a truck.
I don't know. What
You have
is
4 more questions. You know this car. You're driving me
I don't-
nuts. Ask about the drivetrain, for crying out loud.
I don't know. Does it have a V8?
Nope. You have 3 questions left.
Does it have a 4-cylinder?
It does.
It's not a truck. It's not an SUV. It's not a car.
No, you said sedan.
Is it? Oh, is it Fiero?
Yep.
Yes.
On question 19.
Good grief.
Holy cow, dude. You brought this up last time. I thought this was a softball.
Sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Guess that
as long
car.
as we got softballs.
That's right. Yes, I do. That's why I got 2 kids.
All right, so guess the car. This is Jordan's for Logan. You can flip to that first picture, Logan.
Okay. It is
Do you know
a
this one?
GMC Hummer EV.
No.
Not too far off, though.
Yeah.
It's
not
a
like
new-
crazy far off.
New Escalade.
It is a new Escalade. It's the Escalade V. I wasn't sure how much to leave in of that vertical taillight.
They have very
Interesting.
well-defined,
Brand language.
design language over at GM. Yeah. In other words, to say ass. No, I'm just kidding.
I actually like the way they look.
I do, too.
No,
I mean,
it's cool.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't get behind the wheel of an Escalade and take myself seriously.
Cadillac, I think, is the only American luxury brand that has yet to succumb to being exclusively known as like an old people brand. You think of Buick,
Chrysler.
Oldsmobile, Chrysler. Those American luxury
Mercury.
brands always move up toward the elderly end of the buying spectrum. Cadillac is the only one that,
Lincoln.
yeah, they all are like old people brands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's these V products that keep the buying demographic. I mean, old people still buy Cadillacs, but young people will buy Cadillacs too.
Yeah.
And it's also true for American market Japanese brands like Lexus and Infiniti.
It's true. Lexus and Infiniti are seen as more old person cars.
Luxury in general, they're more expensive, and generally more expensive means you're talking about people with more disposable income, which are generally going to be older.
Yeah. Infiniti is for people that want to drive a
It's for-
Nissan but have
It's
too
for
much
old
money
people
to
with
waste.
bad credit.
Yeah, it's for old people with bad credit. There you go. That's better.
They're thinking about everyone. All right, Logan, here's another one.
You have a
All
child.
right, another
called
one for
Detta.
me. Let's go.
All
That
right.
is a C2 Corvette.
Okay.
Wow, that was easy.
I wasn't sure how much to leave in.
Is that a Gran Turismo screenshot?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. You can see it on the bottom.
Oh, it does say in the corner.
That's funny. Yeah, wow, he got that quick.
All right, next one is me
Okay,
again.
cool.
Yep, this
This
one's
one's
for
for me
you
again?
also, Logan.
That is a Camaro.
What year?
69.
It is a 69 Camaro. Dang. Well done.
It's impressive, yeah.
That's right. Test my gangster. 20 questions. That was... you got me grab my ankles on that one, but...
Guess the car's for you, Joe.
All right, mine are not as fun.
That is... I want to say Gumpert Apollo, but it's not. It's Noble
You're on the
M600.
right track. That is right.
Jeez.
Yeah. I thought maybe
Also
going with
double
like
round taillights.
Yep.
Yep.
I thought of another one that somehow slipped my mind when I came up
Spiker
with
C8 ahead of it.
the Bugatti Veyron also has double round taillights.
And the Nissan GTR.
All right, Joe, here's another one for you. Oh, gosh. All right, there's no way.
This one has a big giveaway.
Okay, maybe.
What is this tumor? Because there's not one on the other side of the car.
It's true.
What
That's
part
the
of the
big
car do you think
giveaway.
you're looking at?
I think this center line here to the left in the photo, I believe, is the front of the car.
Oh, interesting. So you think that this object on the right could be like a snorkel or something if it was...
No,
facing
I
the
would
other
think
way?
that that's...
Yeah, I thought this one might be fun. I will say
Yeah.
that my fellow autists are screaming. All 6 of them that are watching this podcast are screaming at the screen right now.
Oh,
I can't wait for all the hate comments that you get in this short, inevitably.
what Japanese car has this thing on the back?
I don't know. Well, what do you think that thing might be, Jordan?
An air intake?
Which would stand
'Cause I
to
imagine
reason
that's on the back.
that the air needs to go into what part of the car?
Well, it would have to be mid-engine, so what, like a... But this isn't an NSX, is it?
No.
Mid-engined, and you said your type of autistic, so I'm assuming Japanese. All right, I got nothing.
It's a Toyota MR2.
Yeah, I was never going to get that.
It came with that. I don't know if that one is actually
They came
factory,
with
but
the tumor?
Yeah, they came with the air intake on the left side. Some of them had it on both sides, actually.
I've seen the ones with it on both sides.
I can't say I've ever been exposed to this, ever.
I don't know if this is true, but I think they were non-functional from the factory.
Then why?
You would make it look that bad for
Yeah.
no reason?
That might not be true. I don't know.
I mean, those were powerful cars, you know. They had to get more air in
They
there.
had to suck air into this 4-cylinder in the rear.
Had to crack that triple-digit horsepower number.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to this one. Okay. Sorry.
All right.
Blind ranking.
The category
Hi, Jordan.
is...
Logan's cars.
Now, you'd think that would narrow it down quite a bit.
It doesn't.
But like you, he's owned a lot of cars.
All right, you ready?
I bet there's going to be ones on there that I didn't even know he owned at some point.
All right.
Isuzu
Ready?
Trooper.
Yep, first one. Isuzu Trooper. Tell me when
Is
you
that the
own
one
a
you
nice
have now?
No. I own an Isuzu Amigo.
Oh, right.
I owned
Silly
this
me.
in Hawaii. This isn't mine. This is a much nicer one. None of these are mine. These are all like nicer than the ones that I own. Like 10 times nicer.
1
I'm
to
going to
5.
call that a solid 3.
3. Now remember, it's 5-speed manual, 4-wheel drive, 4 low, 4 high, has tons of ground clearance.
There are
3?
2 that you own that I would put above that.
Okay. Next slide.
There's number 2.
1970 AMC Javelin.
You said that was a single year that looked like that, right?
Correct. So that was a one-off year. Now mine didn't have the hood scoop,
The hood,
nor did it
yeah.
have the vinyl top. Mine had like the SST scoops, so it was like 2 parallel to each other. This scoop is was on like the Mark Donahue editions, which might be what this one is. But
All right.
It's
All
number
right.
2. Toyota
Right.
RAV4 Cabriolet.
cabriolet, 2-door, 5-speed manual.
You had the Cabriolet?
I did
When was this?
Hawaii.
when I lived in Hawaii.
Okay. That's a very Hawaii car. I'll call that 4.
Mine was gray, and I got those I got these decals that look like those 90s water cups, like the teal
Oh.
splash, and then put it on the side.
That's perfect.
All right,
You have number 1 and number 5 left.
all right. Next slide.
You owned a Grand Wagoneer?
Yep, in 1989.
Wait, no, that sounds familiar because Mom wanted to buy it from you and have you ship it to her.
Yep, and it had the same V8 that the Javelin had. It had the same power plant as the Javelin.
Didn't you trade the Javelin and get that?
No, he gave the Javelin away for free.
No, the Javelin was stolen.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had to sell it after I recovered it, and it was ruined.
Stolen implies that it was taken from him.
It was stolen
through no
from
fault
me,
of his own.
right under my nose.
Is it story time?
You don't know this story?
No, I know this story.
All right. Well, let's finish this 1 to 5, then you can tell us. So, what do you rank this? 1 or 5?
5, because I know there's one that's in my garage right now that I put at 1.
Oh.
All right, number 1.
Well, that's disappointing.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, exactly as planned.
That's not the one that's in my garage.
Yeah.
2006.
Besides this list, how many other cars have you owned? There's the Dart.
I've owned I counted it. I think I've owned 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
Let me see. That's more than I've owned.
I've owned 4. I owned 4 in Japan. So hold on. In order, I owned 65 Dodge Dart, 2006 Mazda 3, and then in Japan I owned a 99 Toyota Celsior, which is like a gangster ass Yakuza vehicle. A 2006 Mazda Atenza wagon, which is a Mazda 6 wagon that we didn't get in the U.S. That had a 5-speed manual. That was cool.
I remember that.
A Mazda Demio, which is a Mazda 2 in the U.S. and a Toyota Wish. It's like a minivan that they sell. Not a K van, but like a minivan.
Is it like the Mazda 5?
Yeah, it's like the Mazda 5. Yeah, basically the same thing. And then in Hawaii, I owned a Isuzu Trooper, Grand Wagoneer, Toyota RAV4, AMC Javelin, and a Hyundai Santa Fe. And then here I've owned, I still have the Santa Fe, a 2006 Toyota Sequoia, 1999 Isuzu Amigo, and a 1994 Volvo 940. That's 14.
That's 14. In order. GMC Sierra, Dodge Dart, Dodge Durango, and then I learned my lesson. Volkswagen, Golf, TDI, Sport Wagon, and then Tesla Model 3, Hyundai Elantra, then a Kia Sedona, a Dodge Dakota, a Mazda Miata, and then very, very briefly, a 1965 Dodge Dart.
Did you say Tesla?
I did.
Okay.
So I'm at 9.
I had a 72 C20, a Honda Civic. I kind of shared a Durango with Mom and Dad.
You had a Suburban.
Yeah, I drove that a handful of times, but I didn't really have anything to do with that.
That got stolen too, just like how mine was stolen.
It got stolen and parked around the corner when they ran out of gas.
Red 67 Chevy truck. Then I had a 4-wheel drive Silverado, Z71 or whatever it was. Then I had the 98 red GMC Sierra that you got once I left my mission.
I bought from Mom and Dad, yeah.
And I came home and I got married, and my wife had my wife had this red Mazda 3 that we later sold to Logan. Then we got a Chrysler 200, a 98 Lumina.
Which is a great car.
It was a great car. It was a 98 with 32,000 miles.
It's crazy.
200, then we got the minivan. Then I bought Dad's Charger. Then I sold that, and now I have a 72 Plymouth Cuda. That's 12 cars.
It's 12. See, I don't even have that many.
You've been driving 6 fewer years than me, Logan, and have driven 2 more cars than I. I've owned 2 more cars.
Or owned 2 more cars.
All right, in 60 seconds or less, tell us what happened to your Javelin.
So there I was, asleep in my bed.
Okay,
no.
This is already false. This is already false.
Oh.
You were
That's
wide
what
awake,
happened.
sober.
No. So what happened was I was trying to sell the Javelin on Facebook Marketplace, and this guy said he wanted to buy it, and I said great. And I looked at his Facebook profile, and he didn't have a profile picture or anything, and I thought, seems legit. Let's meet up at the bank. And he showed up, and he had like a bunch of tattoos and like tattoos all over his face and stuff, and like
Just all green flags the whole way through.
didn't seem like the most upstanding gentleman, but I was like, I don't know, I have lots of tattoos. I mean, I don't have any on my face, but I'm trying not to be judgmental here and whatever. And so
Maybe you should be.
Yeah, I guess so. So then he's like, all right, well, $8,500, and I was like, yeah, like you're not trying to haggle on the price or anything. He goes, nah, man, when I see something I want it, I just buy it. And I was like, dang, dude, all right, I guess you got it like that. Spoiler, he doesn't. He got it like that. His girlfriend was there, and his girlfriend pulls out a checkbook and like starts writing me a check for $8,500. I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm Gen Z. I've never used a check before. I've never owned a checkbook. Never cashed a check, really. I'm like, all right. I mean, cool. I guess. Well, let me Google this. So I'm like Googling it, and by then the bank had closed, which is probably why they were late, and they were waiting for the bank to close. And so I was like, Google on my phone. I was like, hey, can you cash a check at an ATM? Google was like, yeah, you can cash a check at the ATM. Okay. So I take the check. I go to the ATM. There's an old guy there, like some random guy, bystander. And I said, hey, bro, like, sorry to bother you, but I've got this check. This guy wants to buy a car from me. He gave me a check. It's fine, right? Like, I can cash this at the ATM. And then that old guy goes, yeah, sure, I'm cashing my payroll check right now. I was like, all right, well, good enough for me. Put the check in.
So it wasn't a bank employee. That was
just like a guy using the ATM. But like,
okay.
I guess he's as dumb as I am. So like, I get a receipt and I see the balance of my savings account is now $8,506. And I'm like, oh, perfect. You know? So great. Like, all right, I'll endorse the title to you. Have fun, you know? And he jumps in. It was also weird that the girl showed me her license and her name, or she told me her name. She didn't show me her license. She told me her name, but it didn't match what was on the checkbook. And I was like, that's weird. This is a different name on the checkbook. She's like, oh, yeah, that's my government name. And I was like, okay, that seems legit. So,
just
whatever.
Green flags.
Yeah, more green flags. So then they take off. And as soon as they take off, it just all kind of hits me at once. And I'm like, maybe I should call Mom and ask her about this. After they took the car. Call Mom. Tell her the story. And she goes, Logan, tell me you did not take a personal check for that vehicle. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I did. So anyway, it was stolen. It was ruined. They ended up leaving it on the side of the road in Waianae, which is like the ghetto of Oahu. Different guy on Facebook hit me up, says, hey, I see your car on the side of the road. Is it still for sale? And I was like, you found my car. Great. I was like, well, I tell him the story, and I said, the check technically hasn't bounced yet. I'm almost certain it's going to bounce because I looked at this guy's history, and the day he went to meet me, he had literally gotten bounced out of jail for like armed robbery. Like gotten out like that day. And so nice. I was pretty at that point I was actually kind of happy that he just took it because I'm like, he was
leaving with that car one way or another.
So anyway, I end up recovering the car. That guy was a big help. It's a different part of the story, but it's not relevant.
The Facebook guy?
Yeah. I had made, he was dope though, super cool dude. I had made a police report. And this is the craziest part of the story. I'd made a police report that night. Like, my car's been stolen, whatever. The cops end up following up on the vehicle. And they say, hey, I've got this guy's name. I've got a picture of his license. I know it's his government name because I see his pictures on the mugshots that have been released by, like, the county. And, oh, by the way, I had recovered, like, a cell phone. It was, like, in the car. And, like, a bunch of pills and, like, random shit. This pissed me off. Like, wet clothes. They had, like, left wet clothes on the floor. Which is just, like, why?
Yeah, steal the car, but don't put wet clothes in it.
It's a 70 Javelin. Like, anyway, whatever. No respect. Anyway, so, I recovered this phone. So I'm like going to the cops. I'm like, hey, I got this phone. I didn't turn it on, but I'm pretty sure it's theirs. And like, I'm pretty sure it's the girlfriend's actually, because I saw her use it that night, and like all this stuff, and like the car doesn't work anymore because the transmission is ruined because he clearly didn't really know how to drive a manual. Like, there's like let's get this guy, and the cops were like, "Hey, bro, brudda," because they're both locals. They're like, "This is a civil matter," and I was like, "How is this a civil matter? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, can you explain that?" And they're like, "Oh, well, like, you got your car back, and so, like, you know, I don't understand, you know, what do you really want us to do?" Like, and I was like, "I don't know, dude. Like, I want to press, like, charges or whatever." And then this is what the cop says to me. Cops are both locals. I'm not. I'm a haole, which is, like, a non-local. And in the military, which a lot of people don't like there for some legitimate, some illegitimate reasons, in my opinion. He was like, "Brudda, let me tell you." He's like, "You're a haole, right? You're not going to bring charges to this guy. The DA is going to bring charges to this guy. He's a local. The DA is elected by locals. So the DA has a policy that there's a nonviolent crime from a local to a haole, he's never going to bring charges because he'll never win re-election." He's like, "So this, you pressing charges or trying to press charges, whatever, it's just be a big waste of everybody's time. You have your car back, just move on." And I was like, okay. And that was it.
Blind ranking. This is for you, Jordan.
Okay.
Off-road kings.
Okay.
Which of these off-roaders would you actually want to own? 1 to 5.
Bronco Raptor.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind a Bronco Raptor. I'll call that 2.
2. Okay.
That's going to be number 1.
TRX.
Ram TRX. That's pretty cool.
All right.
I hear Logan laughing at me. Oh, that's not an off-roader.
It's
No,
off-road right there. Look at it. It's not
It's a hot hatch.
Off-roader. It's an off-road king.
Is it
It's up
going
there
as
with
far
the-
off-road as like a Bronco Raptor?
Land
Time out.
Cruiser.
That's just not an off-roader. An R3, it doesn't do that. That's not what that's for.
So 5 then.
Yeah, 5.
New Forerunner.
4. I'm just not
Dude, the
interested.
new
They're so
4Runner,
expensive.
it literally looks like a pug. Like, look at the
Oh
front.
my gosh, it does.
Oh,
It looks like a pug.
Kind of looks more bulldog-ish. Like, looks like those flaps.
Yeah,
Those cheek flaps.
patented cheek flaps.
Cheek flaps.
Yeah.
All right. So that means your number 3 is
That's fine.
Raptor R.
Raptor R, yeah. I would probably do the Raptor R over the... No, I'd do Bronco. I'd do Bronco over Raptor. But yeah, an R3 is a
Dude.
weird one to put on an off-roader list up against a
The
Raptor.
comments on this are going to be so bad. People are going to be like, the Blazer? The Jimmy?
I was going more for
The
cars that are
Land
currently on
Cruiser?
sale.
Well, the R3 won't be on sale for many years.
Mason, you're going to get cooked in the comments.
I love watching you have to put something you hate at the top of the list. Nothing feeds me more. All right, this one's for you, Logan. Blind ranking. This category is Bring It Here. These are 5 vehicles that are not sold here. And this is 1 to 5. How badly you wish they sold them here.
The Yaris GR is the first one.
GR Yaris, yep.
My neighbor in Okinawa owned one of these.
That's cool.
And I was very jealous. I don't know. It's like a 2.
The story behind him is really cool, too.
Yeah. All right. Number 2.
Ooh, Suzuki Jimny.
Jimny.
Those are cool. Yeah, Jimny.
They're like mini Wranglers, or mini... That one looks more like a mini Bronco.
Yeah.
What's funny?
Or a mini G-Wagon.
This doesn't apply to the Yaris, but I would wager if any of these are Japanese domestic beyond these 2, I've probably spent time in some of these cars, which I feel like I can give kind of an informed opinion on these. These things are really roomy on the inside, because the panels are like so thin. So I don't know, 3. It's cool. They might bring like an Americanized version of it here, but the one that I was in, definitely I don't think would pass safety standards. Dude, 5? No, I'm just kidding. It's probably...
That's a 1 for me.
Yeah, it's gotta be... I don't want to make it 4.
Holden Malone.
It's a Holden Ute.
Is this one like does it have to be this one, or just like, Because I would get like a black one.
Just like
With the
Holden
supercharger.
Utes in general.
Yeah, like one. And yeah.
Technically, they don't make them at all anymore.
This one does have the supercharged Corvette engine in it.
This Toyota. Yeah.
What
I
is
don't know.
that?
I don't care.
That's I had the name memorized. It's a modular sub $10,000 Toyota truck. Sub $10,000.
How tiny is it?
It's fairly small.
They're
But
small.
I'll talk about this later. But it's kind of
It's new.
crazy how cheap you can make a car if you don't have to worry about things like safety or emissions or American taste for large vehicles. Take all that out of the equation, you can make it.
activities.
Does
Yeah.
that back door open vertically? Like a wing? Why is the handle at the
This is
bottom?
just one configuration. It basically only comes with the first section and then like a flatbed or any other number of modular things in the back.
That's crazy. I like it though.
It's cool. And then finally,
Last car, yeah, comfortable number one for sure. Or, oh, dang, I already used number one. I guess this is number 4 then, but I would have put it number 1. The SRT8 Chrysler 300. I mean,
they did
break
make the
immediately.
SRT8 for the first gen
Wagon.
wagon.
Yeah.
We'll get on to our trivia. So this is Jordan's question.
This is for either of you.
Either of us? Okay.
What is the most popular vehicle color worldwide
Currently, as of what year?
as of 2023?
White, blue, green, black.
White, blue, green. I would say white. I'm going by the stats here. Corporate vehicles are almost always white. And you got to think of on top of the standard distribution of colors across the consumer market, I think if you look at the commercial market, it's like more than half of them are white. I think you add those
Because
two
they get
together.
wrapped or they get stickers on them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also think of like how many cars are in like India and China alone. And so, like, what if they really like green over there?
Green seems too out there to be the most popular color.
Yeah, I'm going with white.
What do you say? White? I'm going to go with white.
Well, white is the answer.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, your next one for us?
Prior to 2005, how long had the Dodge Charger been discontinued?
That is kind of a trick question because when we think Dodge Charger, we think the one that ended production in 74 and
17
started
years.
in 2005. But they had a rebadged Mitsubishi or something.
They
in
did
like
have a front-wheel drive economy Charger
in like the mid 80s, early
at
80s.
some point in history, yes.
I'm
do you think
saying
about
17 years.
There's also 4 options.
4
Oh,
options.
18
So
years.
prior to 2005?
18 years. I guessed 17 blind, so I'm taking 18. That would mean it got discontinued in 87. That would make perfect sense.
Yeah, same. 18 years.
Well, the answer is 18 years.
Yeah, okay. We're good at this.
I think that's all my trivia.
Okay. Here's my trivia question for either of you. What is the only supercharged, mid-engine, all-wheel drive car ever made?
Supercharged mid-engine.
All-wheel drive. I'm so happy you don't know this. You have no idea.
Lancia Stratos.
Okay, technically that was super and turbocharged.
No, that was Lancia Delta.
Okay. One of those also technically qualifies, but it was also turbocharged.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Sure.
Was it sold in the American market?
It was.
Because I don't know of any Lamborghinis that were supercharged. And those are often all-wheel drive and mid-engine.
We'll talk about this. You will, but the new one's turbocharged.
Yes. It's actually it's got a hot V.
My guess is some variant of the Ford GT.
You see, that's what I was thinking, but that's rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, no.
So then it wasn't the Celine. Celine was rear wheel. It hasn't been sold in a while, huh?
Almost 30 years?
I went to the next slide. It's not where you're thinking, Jordan.
All right. The only supercharged
Wait.
mid-engine
Oh, it doesn't say V8.
all-wheel drive is the Toyota Previa.
Kyle Johnson's mom had
Yep.
one of those.
I was going to tell you, I actually knew someone who owned this vehicle.
Supercharged all-wheel drive.
Mid-engine.
It sounds like a performance car.
Yep.
That's amazing.
And the engine's like right under the console, basically.
That's amazing.
Fun piece of trivia for you.
Oh my gosh.
This is from the era where they used to still make 3-door minivans. It only had the sliding door on one side.
Yeah, like the GMC Safari. Mm-hmm. The Chevy Astro.
Well, that's it for our speed rounds. We'll move on to
So funny.
our discussion segments, starting with the news. All right, Logan. Why are we looking at a K-Truck?
All right, can you go to the next slide?
Okay.
All
You
right,
care to explain?
just leave it on that one.
Okay.
So the quiet K-truck ban that's going on in the U.S. Have you guys heard about this going on?
No.
American trucks are really, really large and really expensive. They're like luxury vehicles. Basically now they're luxury purchases. They're like, some of them are easily over $100,000, like well equipped. Japan makes hyper-functional trucks called K-trucks that are not particularly safe by American standards, but they're safe by Japanese standards. And in the past 10 years or so, they've been being imported to the United States, as a lot of them are meeting that 25-year requirement to be
I see them
exempt
regularly.
from safety and EPA standards. It makes sense that you see them in Arizona. However, in 2021, there was a bureaucratic organization that nobody cares about that said that K vehicles imported from Japan are no longer considered safe for interstate highways. And so a lot of states are now banning them outright. And so there are 6 states that have like heavily restricted usage, so like only farm usage and things like that. And now 15 states that have completely outlawed K-trucks and K vehicles from Japan. So these states are Colorado, Minnesota, Montana, Virginia, West Virginia, and Georgia have restricted use. Then Connecticut, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Dakota, and Vermont have completely outlawed K-trucks. You can't register them, you can't title them. Massachusetts was the newest one, like within the past few weeks or few months or something like that. And the funny thing is that Massachusetts doesn't know what a K car is because they released a list of K cars, and a couple of them weren't even trucks that existed. Like they named one called the Isuzu mini truck, which didn't exist. And then they also wanted to ban them based on the VIN number, but it would apply to all JDM imports. So people were trying to title things like R34s and getting turned away at the Massachusetts RMV, I think is what it's called over there.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's irrelevant. It's just nanny state activities. They're outlawing K-trucks because they're functional and useful and inexpensive, and in America we can't have anything nice. We have to buy these like dumbs, like even like a small truck like the Maverick is still, $28,000, $30,000.
You're not getting out under 30, yeah.
The real patriots in Texas and North Carolina actually fought against their legislatures and got the laws overturned. So
Nice.
That's right. Here's what drives me insane. Tell me what you guys think about this, okay? They say that they're unsafe for highway usage, that you might die if you drive them. Now, first of all...
Unsafe for who?
Yeah, like, I'm driving it. I should be able to recognize the risk and accept it if I so...
Are motorcycles allowed on the highway?
Exactly. That's exactly my point. Not only can motorcycles go on the highway, but they can, like, lane split and do all sorts of stuff that cars can't even do. So, like, what are we talking about here?
So it's nanny state bullcrap.
I'm going to have to tell my brother-in-law to hurry up and buy one before...
Arizona, it's still legal, but you're
I'm
getting
saying.
a lot of expats from your neighboring state, and they're gonna come over there and take your
drive up
K-trucks.
the prices. Mm-hmm.
I've already figured it out. I'm gonna buy one, and I'm gonna slap one of those sovereign citizen license plates on it.
That always works.
This is a private vehicle for private travel use only. You may not restrict me. But yeah, that's my news story. Sad.
That is sad. Sad K-Truck.
Sad K-truck.
The new car reveal this week.
Yep. This Audi R8, I mean, this new... I'm trying to say Lamborghini, but it really looks like an R8.
Really? It looks like
Look
Lamborghini to me.
Look at the scoop in the side. Minus the blade.
Old one had that?
Minus the blade on the side of the R8, it looks like an R8.
It literally looks nothing like an R8 whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely a departure, though. From the Y-shaped headlights that they lost, in all Lambos for a long time, the headlights have come up the hood, and they haven't been this like horizontal stripe. So when I see that, the identifiable face of the Lambo is missing. But anyway, this is the Temerario, which means
the Timu Rari.
Yes, the Timu Rari. No, the Temerario.
The Rari you order off Timu.
That looks like a Lambo. That wide stance. It's actually 10 inches longer than the outgoing Huracan.
Really? It looks stout.
Because it's actually proportionally even wider than that, more than the Huracan. So it's actually got a different ratio. It's wider in relationship to its length than the Huracan was. But it's still 10 inches longer.
So it's much bigger than the
Yes.
Huracan.
I'm also wider in relationship to my length than I used to be.
Well, from top down, that's totally Lambo. With the vents over the engine compartment and all that. It's really cool.
I think it's refreshingly restrained, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'd like refreshingly restrained from Ferrari. Lamborghini, I want it to set your hair on fire just walking past it. Like, I want it to be bonkers as bonkers gets.
I could see that in the later, because when Lamborghini comes out with a new vehicle, they keep that for like 10 years. And then they make variations every year. So for the very first one, that this is like the platform for this vehicle, I'm fine with it being more
the canvas
restrained.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. There's only 17 scoops and swoops on this thing right now. They'll get up to 25, 38, 45.
The back end, though, did get a little crazier. You should go to the next picture. It's a better photo of the rear.
It does kind of look like the Batmobile, like the Tumbler.
The exposed rear tires, just like the Bugatti.
And that's Lamborghini, too. Like the
parent
Countach
company
had that.
Oh, yeah.
And I do like the raised exhaust, kind of like the McLarens.
So cool.
Apparently Temerario translates loosely to something like rowdy. And then the big brother, I always forget the bigger Lamborghini's name.
Revuelto.
Yes. That one means unruly. So we got rowdy and unruly.
And that's Lamborghini.
The engine layout is the biggest difference here. What you're looking at there, and brace yourselves, but that's called a hot V. You like staring down the barrel of that hot V? Because the turbos are situated as close as they physically can be to the exit of the cylinder head. So there is the minimum amount of runner length between the cylinder head and the turbo. So you have the minimum amount of lag. The problem with that is that turbos get hot, very hot. And if you put two turbos next to each other and shove it right there in the middle of the V8, it gets hot. Yes. And if it makes you feel better, this is also a brand new V8 that's never been in anything else. This is not like the Audi R8 V8.
Where they've had a generation of
tweaking. Yeah, this is all brand new.
And that's not the only thing moving the vehicle.
No.
That's not the end of the drivetrain.
If you only wanted 788 horsepower, sure. But it also has 3 electric motors, putting the total power output up to 907 horsepower. So go ahead and go to the next slide. I wanted to point out, you see this slit in the side in front of the rear tire? When I saw the side profile of the Temerado, whatever it is, I immediately thought of the Rimac Nevera, because that styling thing where the there's a slice in the side of that scoop going back to the rear tire. Can you go back to the side profile? I saw it and I was like, that is totally Rimac Nevera. So you can see it right there. So anyway, I just threw that in there because that's what it made me think of when I saw it. So I got a pros and cons list here. Pros, this is a flat plane V8 with a 10,000 RPM redline.
I was worried when they were switching from the 10 to an 8-cylinder. I was like, it's not going to have that screaming Lambo sound. But after I heard it had a 10,000 RPM redline, I'm like, maybe it will actually.
I heard it.
Oh, yeah.
You will be disappointed.
Do the turbos kind of muffle?
It muffles it, and it sounds way lower pitched. But 2.7 seconds to 60. It has more cabin space because it's quite a bit bigger. 907 horsepower. This is also the very first front-wheel drive Lamborghini.
They keep saying that, but that's not really true. It has electric motors.
If you're in a certain like EV-only mode, which I think it has 10 miles or something of EV, then it is a front-wheel drive.
But the moment you like put any gas to it at all, it's going to like get out of that
Correct.
mode.
You only get 130 horsepower if you wanted to have your Lambo be a hot hatch for a little while.
That's like enough range to like leave your neighborhood.
Oh, it also has a 20% stiffer chassis than the Huracan, which is cool.
So it's girthier, longer, and stiffer.
Yeah. Cons, it's turbocharged, kills the sound, and also introduces turbo lag, which they're trying to cure with the electric motors, and we'll see if that helps. It's a V8 instead of a V10, which is disappointing. It has also gained more than 400 pounds, which is a lot. It went from 33 to over 3,700 pounds. And then the sound is pretty muffled. You don't get that. You just get like a.
So do you guys like it? Do you guys like it or do you not like it?
I'll wait and see. I think the styling is too subdued for me.
Oh my God.
The engine is wrong.
You know what you guys sound like? You sound like when you're watching the Olympics and you see people do like this insane shit on the Olympics that like you can never
and I go, I could do it better.
Oreos, you're just like, oh God, she slipped. That's pathetic. Like
I think it looks great.
Am I not allowed to have an opinion on a car just because I can't afford it?
Cooler than everything I've ever driven put together. It is so cool.
I could be a little disappointed that we lose the V10. It's been with us.
And the V10
forever.
sound.
And the sound. But I'm sure at some point they had to do the math on keeping the Lamborghini layout. Massive V12, V10 supercars, especially in just the age we're in with trying to meet efficiency goals. If it meant we got to keep the V12 in their flagship model and their volume seller, the smaller Lambo, step down to a V8, okay.
This is lighter than a Revuelto.
Well, yeah, it's smaller.
And doesn't have that much less horsepower.
The electric configuration is identical to the one in the Revuelto. The motors, the battery.
That makes sense. And probably all from Rimac. It's probably not going to be that much slower because it's lighter. It has 907 horsepower, which means you've passed a threshold where horsepower even matters. So is a car with 1,050 horsepower going to be significantly faster than a car with 907?
Yeah, that's a 100 horsepower deficit. But that sounds like a lot, but that's the difference between 270 and 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
That's a 10% power deficit.
Yeah. It has a top speed over 210 miles an hour. They've said it's at least 210. The Revuelto's 217. So it's not helping it go any faster. But it's heavier.
It's just that little bit, though, that people will pay twice as much for.
They totally will. I'm just saying that I'm interested to see if it's going to be faster than its big brother.
All right, I'm going to show you guys a picture of this car, and I want you to tell me what you think it is.
The new Toyota Camry?
Is this the BYD,
Jordan's closer, so you're thinking it's a Chinese.
Yeah, I think it's like a Chinese knockoff of...
Like a mix between an Audi A5 and a Toyota Camry.
I'm thinking this line over the front fender makes me think Hyundai Sonata. The new one has that line.
So this is actually a Dodge.
No, it's not.
This is, everyone's talking about Dodge's hot sedan that's ready for a generational refresh in 2025. The Dodge Attitude. Oh, yeah.
Gosh.
The next generation Dodge Attitude.
It is a Hyundai.
It's not. It's actually based on Trumpchi Mpao.
So it is Chinese.
It is Chinese. Yeah, you were really close. So you weren't here for this, Logan, but the Dodge Attitude, we'll say it has a storied past.
No, I'm familiar with it because it's just a rebadged Hyundai.
Well, it started off as a rebadged Hyundai Accent, and then a Hyundai Accent that didn't bother to rebadge.
Yeah, it had the Hyundai badge on it. Still.
They literally didn't rebadge it. And then the third one, once Hyundai started selling in Mexico, they had to find some other vehicle to, leech off of to make a Dodge Attitude out of. And so they're like, Mitsubishi Mirage, all right.
How do we step down?
That actually sounds on brand for Chrysler because it reminds me of that old commercial with the monkey, and then they got like sued or something, and then they just like CGI'd the monkey out and then re-released the commercial.
Well, now they're basing it off of the Trumpchi Mpao. Now, they already sell the Dodge Journey in Mexico. We stopped selling it here, but it's a different vehicle there. It's a rebadged Trumpchi GS5, which is like a tall crossover kind of thing. But this is actually a big step up. It's got aluminum wheels, LED lights, infotainment, driver assistance features, lane keep assist. Like, coming from a rebadged Mirage, this is actually a pretty big improvement. Performance.
It'll scan your face and it'll know if you say anything disparaging about the party.
About the CCP, yeah. 0 to 60 under 7 seconds. The Mirage is like 12.7 or something, so I mean, it's like almost twice as fast.
That's faster than a Gen 1 GTI.
Yeah. And
is it as fast as a Toyota Previa?
This is the only picture we have so far. There's a few spy images out there, but it's going to be very close to the Trumpchi equivalent. And actually, I think it looks pretty good. Pretty fun little sedan.
It totally looks like a Sonata right here in front of the
It almost looks like a Nissan badge too for a second.
Yes, so the Nissan shape here on the grill, and then this looks like a Sonata, this like sweep that makes the whole thing look like it's been sat on either end.
Yeah.
No, this is a deep cut, but the badge actually looks like from The Incredibles, where he finds the other guy in the cave.
Geezer beam?
Geezer beam.
Gazer beam.
Yeah, Gazer beam.
You said geezer beam.
It is Geezer beam.
I thought it was gazer beam.
It's Gazer beam.
Because gaze with his eyes. Laser.
Geezer beam?
I thought that's what they said. I thought he was old.
Turns people old.
I thought it was Geezer beam.
An idiot. It's Gazer
My
beam.
kids have watched this like 100 times recently.
Gazer beam.
Geezer beam. You were just like, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. He's old, whatever.
Old.
It's the Trumpchi geezer beam. Okay, but in all seriousness, Dodge's other sedan that they're very excited about, at least they're...
Oh, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. They're United States. I thought you would appreciate the fact that we get a new Dodge Attitude coming out.
Look at those panel gaps. Look at those panel gaps. It looks like a transformer that's just started transforming.
We've talked about this car a lot, but just as some background, this is the 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona, and Daytona signifies this is the all-electric, the EV version of the Charger. There are 6-pack vehicles, which are Hurricane inline 6 models that are coming later. This and the 4-door variant and the 6-pack, those are replacing the current V8 Hemi-powered Charger and Challenger that are in Dodge's lineup. Dodge announced pricing and availability at Roadkill Nights this last week on August 10th. They're all dual motor, all-wheel drive, battery electric, 2-door muscle cars. It's actually deceptively a hatchback coupe, so the whole back can open up. And it has something unique to the segment in the form of a Fratsonic chambered exhaust. Ever since they showed it off back in 2020, they've been tweaking the sound because there was a lot of negative feedback on that, and they went to making it sound more like a cross-plane V8. Mm-hmm. Kind of a speaker system, but it's not like the outward facing speakers in like a Tesla. It actually goes through like these pressurized chambers, and if you stand behind it, you'll feel the frequencies and pressure change. Like you can feel it in your chest the way you would if you're standing behind like an actually like internal combustion engine. And you can decide if that's like dumb or not, but I at least respect that they're trying. They're trying so hard.
What else are they going to do?
Yeah. Those panel gaps are not optional, Logan, but the frunk there is. That's actually an optional extra.
So you can get the regular hood and get a frunk?
Looks like that. Or you can open it, and there's some servicings you can get to, but there's no available frunk space.
Why make that an option?
I don't know. And it's not even much space anyway. There's another vehicle, I can't think of it right now, but there's another vehicle where the frunk cavity is an option. Seems silly considering the RT starts at $61,000. You can't throw in a plastic liner for a frunk?
This is absurd.
The Scat Pack starts at $75,000.
Now I need to elaborate. The electrical components, the battery, the motors, the battery controller, everything between these two cars is identical. The horsepower difference is strictly limited by software. The price for them to build one and the price for them to build the other is the same.
No, the RT doesn't have a frunk, so...
The RT does 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds, even though it has almost 500 horsepower.
Electric horsepower.
Yeah. Which, that seems not that quick.
But you know how much it weighs.
It weighs a lot, but still.
Not as much as a new M5.
No, it weighs more than a new M5. A new M5 is 5,200 pounds?
Is it 600 pounds more than that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Scat Pack has over 600 horsepower. That 0 to 60 is 3.3 seconds, which that actually sounds about right. It's that RT 4.7. The Scat Pack currently will do that for the same amount or less money, and you get to keep the Hemi.
They're not selling any of these at that price. They were telling us forever that the only reason they cost so much is from government fees.
Mm-hmm, fees.
If they manage to come in at the same or even undercut the old RT's price and go like, see guys, we can do this and we can provide these products to you for less because we're trying to work with the
currently this is a 2-door. The 4-door Daytona electric models will come in early 2025. So they'll sell both a 2-door and 4-door. And they actually share the same wheelbase, which I think is why I think the 2-door looks weird. There's too much space between the door and that rear wheel. The 3-liter 6-pack models will come late 2025. There's a standard output, 420 horsepower, and high output, 550 horsepower. And those will also come in 2- and 4-door variations.
I would bet they're competitive.
Are the ones that are going to sell. Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be
significantly lighter. Yeah.
I would bet at least 1,000 pounds lighter. Yeah. They're going to be a lot cheaper. And they'll probably outpace these things around a track.
Now, do you think they'll put a manual in it?
Does Chrysler make a single vehicle with a manual still?
No.
Not now that the Challenger's not being sold. They had some special editions. I mean, they look good. Ralph Gilles was the chief designer, and like you could tell, it's got those classic muscle car lines.
It no doubt it is gorgeous.
It's a good looking car. It's too expensive for what you're getting. Dodge is, you don't care about the creature comforts, you don't care about the extra safety features, you want the most horsepower you can fit between the front wheels, and you want to make a lot of noise in the process. Like that's where they were. There are more compelling products. People buy Chargers and Challengers over things like the Mustang, even though the Mustang has more power. It's faster. It's less expensive. The interior is significantly newer. People still buy the Challenger because it has that muscle car essence to it that I think the Mustang has kind of lost over time.
Mm-hmm.
But
would you say it has the Dodge attitude?
Yes. Gosh. All right. I'm going to get through this quickly. We're on to Marketplace Mayhem. So this one's yours, Logan. It's a 2000 Dodge Viper RT10.
Yeah. Look at the price.
$37K.
And 34,000 miles. That one, I don't know. I just was intrigued by the price and the fact that you could get a manual V10 convertible for $37,000. It's not bad.
Pretty good.
With Dodge reliability, too.
I was going to say, and you could have enough money left over to actually keep it running.
Has a rebuilt title.
Who cares?
I was wondering why that bumper wasn't fitting quite right.
No one's ever crashed a Viper. Those are famously easy to handle.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd rather handle an actual Viper. And what you got here, Joe?
So, this beautiful masterpiece, this is someone's attempt at making an Oakland-themed lowrider car. Like Oakland Raiders, but also like city locations in Oakland.
Is this sold in Oakland?
Nope, this is for sale in Las Vegas.
Okay.
This falls into that. It's got the labyrinth syndrome. I've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like the movie The Labyrinth, I've never seen so much effort go into something that turned out such crap.
And it's a similar story where this is made to a very specific person's taste.
It's not mine.
$5,000 seems kind of steep. How many miles are on it?
Has been on the Jumbotron at Oakland.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Take my money.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
I've been on a Jumbotron, and I'm not worth $5,000. All right.
Go move on to the next one. That's the only picture they posted.
Their Ring video cam.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you're really going to use this as your picture of selling your... I can't even barely tell what car it is.
The amount of effort
the same amount of effort into that.
What were you going to say? I think you're going to say the same thing I am, Logan. What were you going to say?
Just the amount of effort they put into it is the amount of effort that Dodge put into the Caliber.
Yeah. I was going to say, if this is the quality of pictures, the amount of effort they're willing to do to sell the car, I guarantee you they've never changed the oil.
Never once. Yeah. And then the next one, yeah. If this wasn't dumb enough, go to the next photo.
Oh, Spider-Man.
And then look at that janky leather wrap job.
This is what I don't understand. Just because you don't happen to like it doesn't mean they don't have a place in the car community. There's a whole lowrider community.
Yeah, there's lots of places at the bottom of the ocean. You can put it anywhere.
This is what I'm talking about.
Okay. You're gonna argue and say this isn't stupid?
I mean, it's stupid to some people. It's cool as hell to other people.
They work really well when the road floods.
Yes. Yeah. I imagine
exactly.
It's practical.
All that being said, the expansion of the wheel wells to fit these looks remarkably seamless.
Every turn is a 17-point turn.
Some people buy things just because they like the way they look. Trust me, I bought a car just because I like the way it looks. It's not the most practical or safe thing, or reliable, or efficient.
Everyone should have the exact same taste as me, or they're wrong, and I hate them.
No, there's a limit.
Hot takes. All right, Logan, you got a steamy one for us.
Hot and steamy. Are you looking at the picture?
Mm-hmm. Yep, say it out loud.
Four-door Mustang is a good idea, and they should do it.
Now, why are you talking about a four-door Mustang?
Because Ford showed off a bunch of different Mustang variants. I forget what the exact show was, but they showed it off this week.
They showed it to dealers. Yeah.
Yeah, they showed it to dealers. That's what it was. Yeah, a four-door Mustang.
You're not gonna find, I think this is just a rendering. You're not gonna find actual pictures of it, but
yeah, it looks. Even this rendering looks pretty good. It obviously doesn't look exactly right, but if it looks moderately like this really does look like a car you could see on the road. It has some sort of weird lines in this render, but I'm not too worried about the render. The point is, look, just abandon your Mopar fanboyism, like your blind loyalty against all reputable evidence for like 5 seconds, and just acknowledge the fact that Ford today is producing the best V8 naturally aspirated manual sports cars for the masses.
Yep.
And right now, the only way to get into this class of vehicle with a V8 that has a manual is to spend God knows how much money on a CT4 or CT5 Blackwing. But you bring that segment back down, a four-door Mustang, although it may seem sacrilege to a lot of people, is probably the best last good opportunity to have a four-door, naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 with a manual.
That is an excellent point.
It's less of a leap than making an
SUV.
all-electric Mustang, and they already did that. So a four-door Mustang seems pretty tame.
No, that Hyman wasn't broken. It was destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
Right? I said yeah before I realized what he said, so I'm sorry. I don't agree with this man. I'm a little worried about the proportions. I'm not like saying, oh, they can never do that to the Mustang, like as an enthusiast or like an elitist perspective. It's just I don't know how well the Mustang's proportions would translate to a sedan.
And the fact that the back seat's only 2.
Here's an even hotter take for you. For you. Let's say they have this in the 5-liter V8, like the Coyote motor, and maybe they even step it up to like the supercharged 5-liter that goes in the higher end Mustangs. Here's my hotter take for you guys. If this existed, the 4-door Mustang, so same power plant as the Mustang that exists today, maybe the lower tier V8 version and the higher tier supercharged version, but even just sticking with the lower tier V8 version, better than any Charger that's ever come out ever. Way better. Leagues better. Why? Because the Charger never came with
A manual.
Yeah.
So this would be remembered significantly more fondly and be more sought after by enthusiasts 20, 30, 40 years from now on the Charger. And probably looks better too.
The Charger was made as a sedan from the ground up.
Yeah.
Trying to take a Mustang and add 2 more doors to it, it might look kind of weird.
I mean, I'll reserve judgment until I see something like that. But I tend to agree with Mason on that one, that I think the Charger designed as a 4-door will probably be just better proportion.
Look more proportion, yeah.
Yeah, but the Mustang looks so good.
It does look good.
It looks good
as a
what
2.
Are we on the 7th gen Mustang now? Looks
S650. Yep.
Dude, it's so good. Anyway, that's my hot take.
That's a good take. My hot take, new cars are not overpriced.
Shame. Kick him off the podcast.
And that's all I have to say. Thank you for joining.
You're not willing to elaborate?
Okay.
New cars are not overpriced.
New cars not overpriced.
The whole pricing model for a car is ridiculous, where it's like, let's buy a depreciating asset and pay more interest on it than I would on an appreciating asset like a home. Dude, I saw this guy posted, he's like, did I get hosed? He had bought like a...
If you're asking that, then the answer is yes.
Dude, he had bought like a $27,000, something like Hyundai or something. $27,000, but the total lease or total loan term, it was like $51,000. And he was in the comments because he was like, yeah, they pressured me to sign it. They didn't show me any paperwork. And everyone's like, stop. Like, you didn't sign anything that you didn't have to read. Like, if you signed something that you didn't read, that's your fault. Also, you optioned all the extras. And then he was in the comments saying, I'm going to go back and tell them to take it all off. And everyone's like,
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. And then they go, what's your lease term, or what's your payment term? And he goes, 84 months. 84 months. They're actually getting more and more common.
Because people are spending more on cars, which is not the same as my hot take, which is new cars are not overpriced. I agree. People are spending too much on cars. I don't think a good practical car is overpriced. Think of 3 sedans, the most practical, reliable, fuel-efficient, just solid sedans sold in America.
Yeah.
Give me 3 of them.
Camry Accord.
Let's take the Camry as an example. On the left, that's a 2023 Camry. On the right, that's a 1983 Camry. 30 years.
40 years.
You're right. 40 years separate these 2 vehicles. Okay? Let's take a look at what the options are for these 2. Not even options. This is the standard equipment for these 2 vehicles. Now, keep in mind that price figure for that 83 Camry is in 1983 dollars. I'll show you what that translates to in modern dollars in a minute. But look at what you get. Starting price of a 23 Camry, this is what you get for $26,000. You get 8-speed automatic, 200 horsepower, a not terrible 0 to 60. Not fast, but if that's
not
the
what
kind
it's
of car you're
for.
looking for, significantly better than what it was 40 years ago. It's significantly bigger, more spacious,
Touchscreen.
infotainment system, better gas mileage, better range, and that says nothing about the standard safety equipment you get with those vehicles. This is all standard equipment.
So I love how you pretended like you weren't going to elaborate and you had slides prepared.
I'm just laughing that the miles per gallon has only gone up 1.5 miles per gallon. I'm just thinking about someone owning an 83
Look at the
Camry.
weight.
Well, yeah, I get that. I'm just thinking about somebody owning an 83 Camry after the oil crisis, in the later 80s and the 90s, and like they had to have spent like $60 a year on gasoline.
And then this is all the standard safety equipment you get. A base Camry. This is what you get. None of that you got on an 83 Camry. Like, you got lane keep assist, you got collision warning system, you got all that stuff. Okay? So what is driving prices to increase? I can narrow it down to 3 things. Much of the safety equipment here isn't just Toyota being nice. This is all required by law. Not all, but a lot of this is required by law. That stuff costs money. They have to make money on the cars they sell. So if it's required to put in the car has to cost more money. Efficiency standards necessitate a 3,500 pound vehicle get good gas mileage. Again, you got catalytic converters, you got all this expensive equipment you have to put in the car. You still have to make a profit on the car. So the price of the car has to go up. And tariffs, check out the chicken tax, artificially increase the price of U.S. goods compared to things that we could easily... We just spent the whole first part of this episode talking about inexpensive cars that just aren't allowed to be sold here. A 2023 Camry is $26,320. Adjusted for inflation, a 1983 Camry is $26,378. $50 more expensive. For the same buying power, you get this and this.
That's not true, though, because wages haven't increased along with inflation, so...
Your purchasing power has gone up, even though wages haven't gone up, because what you're getting for per dollar has gotten better. There's 2 sides to that inflation coin. One is the products are improving, and 2 is the value of the dollar is going down. So, yeah, you might have spent the same inflation-adjusted number of dollars on that vehicle at the time. Mason's point is... the product you're getting
significantly better product.
You're getting a significantly better product.
But what am I going to get as soon as my 84-month term is up?
Ideally, for $26,000, you don't need an 84-month term.
Oh, I need it.
So my hot take is new cars are overpriced. Average new car price in May of 2024 was $48,000. Okay, well, how do you square that round hole? People are spending too much money on cars. That's the average car price. That's what people are choosing to spend on cars.
There are people spending $70,000 on RAV4s after interest.
Yeah.
$70,000 on a RAV4.
There are plenty of base Camrys, and if more people bought them, they would make more of them. But people aren't choosing those vehicles.
Because if they're going to finance it anyway, they're going to get the thing they want.
Exactly.
Why would I save money and purchase a car cash or pay higher payments and be more disciplined when I can get an 84-month term for the XLE Camry and then cry about it on Reddit the next day?
When it halves in value in 3 years.
Well, yeah. Camry only would drop like 30%, but yeah.
That's true. Similar to what you talked about, Logan, I think you might need a new category of cars. A new category of vehicles not burdened by...
what has been?
Yeah, by regulations. Assume the risk of operating a vehicle that isn't up to like American safety standards. Again, we let motorcycles drive on the road. We already do this. You assume the risk of driving a motorcycle. You're not an increased risk to anyone else on the road because your vehicle isn't safe. If anything, if you're driving a 9,000-pound Hummer, yeah, you're safe. But imagine 2 of those getting in an accident, the kind of collateral damage that would happen.
Yeah. I'm just imagining like the playground in Terminator 2.
Yeah. So just because you drive a, 2,000-pound K truck, you're less of a risk to everyone else around you.
Yeah. It's like Logan said, the nanny state being the nanny state. The average age of a new car buyer is 57.
I've never bought a new car. I probably never will.
Yeah, who even is buying new cars?
I don't understand how there's so many cars on the road that are new.
It's probably people who are retiring. They're like, you know what? I'm retiring. I'm buying myself a brand new car.
It blows my mind that there's so many new cars sold.
Hey, new suckers born every day.
Yeah, well, that's my hot take. I actually think you get a pretty dang good deal for a car. For the price. I think people are just spending too much money on cars.
The one on the left there isn't a base, though.
No, it's not.
Still, good luck finding a base at the dealership, too, because they're all dealer spec.
They've got at least like minimum heated seats and other stuff.
You're probably not going to find very many of them, again, because people don't buy that. But if people wanted to buy them, and there were enough people that wanted it, that's what they'd make more of. But people don't want that. They want expensive cars.
Is that it?
That is it. All right, well, I guess we'll wrap this up before I have more to edit out. Thanks for joining, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Bye.